to Anna and Maddie. Okay, so happy Thursday. I cannot wait for this weekend. It's been nonstop getting everything ready for the summer program. So, so Williamson, we have Kathy. Kathy is our social media intern. She's on the line. Kathy Williamson also is going to be covering Groveland with Rebecca. And so, what I wanted to do today was um, kind of go over the basics for next week. This is going to be the same format that we're going to have every Friday moving forward. So the idea is that on Tuesday we have a quick check-in, kind of see, hey, what's working, what's not working, anything that's needed at the different locations. And then on Fridays, I am going to share with you all the topics, the workshops, the demonstrations for the following week. So, first thing is first, Williamson, last I checked, we needed the handbook acknowledgement from you and the background check. Have you been able to work on those two? Williamson, you're on mute. Okay, so oh, that's interesting. Um, so what I'll do is I'll send you the page where you need to sign. We need that back, and then also we definitely need the background check. So do you have the link for that? Okay, yeah, that is super, super important. Like, we've got to get that taken care of today, and then I can provide you with the, um, to pay for it. I think it's like $10. But yeah, we definitely need that, right? And then Maddie, she needs to get me the handbook acknowledgement, the background check, and the CPR. And then Anna, it looks like the handbook acknowledgement, background check, and CPR. So the CPR, I mean, I'm sorry, the background check is critical. And I'll get with them too later today. Um, I'm going to be putting out in our Slack channel, the one that's called On-Site Interns and Staff. I'm going to be putting out there the addresses for both locations. That way everybody has it. Next Monday, everybody's going to also receive like a Google Sheets template with all the emergency contact information for the teens, any allergies that they may have, like a summary of the teens, and in the case of an emergency, who we need to contact. So that's going out. Actually, it's going out on Sunday. Um, and everything is going to be stored in that Slack channel, the on site interns and staff. So for next week, on Monday, like I shared with everybody individually, we're going to be doing the pre in body scans. And Rebecca and Williamson, I spoke to Valeria yesterday. She's going to be assisting with that, and she's going to teach you both how to use a machine. But for the most part, she's going to be there um, on Monday doing the scans for the teens. She did mention that you guys are more than welcome to work out with the teens if you like. We just need to make sure that you both sign the gym waiver. Okay. So I know that's something that Rebecca, you wanted to participate in and work out with the teens. Um, I invited Kathy to this call because she has great ideas for social media postings, and so we're gonna need both of your help in capturing pictures and videos. So I invited her to the Friday calls, so that she can share certain, I don't know, shots or ideas for postings. Maybe Kathy, you can chime in and kind of talk about the collaborative efforts here. Okay. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. Okay. So then on Monday, like I said, Valeria is going to be at Boost Only CrossFit helping out with the scans. Obviously, Brandon is going to be in Tri Power. Um, once the scans are done, then Coach John and Coach Brandon will take the teens over to the workout area. They'll do the pre bench workout. Once they're done there, we just need to make sure that we have the fruit, the water, everything out and available. And really, the rest of the session is going to be making sure that the teens have downloaded the SWC app, the gym app, and that they complete the survey. Something, Williamson, that Rebecca and I were talking about in regards to the Kahoot, the trivia section. I'll leave it up to you both how you want to do it, but we have several ways. We can either have the teens download Kahoot and everybody plays Kahoot, or maybe you take a teen, Rebecca takes a teen, and we do like a little fun healthy competition amongst the two teams. So I'll leave that up to you guys. But if they need to download the Kahoot, then this is a great opportunity to do that. Any questions on Monday before we move on to Wednesday? Okay, Rebecca, we're good, right? Yeah. Monday's going to be really easy. So then Wednesday let's see, we've got for the most part the modules. So um the teens, of course, I'm explaining all of this. This is a mock sample of the template, but essentially Wednesday is going to be really viewing the modules, and then Thursday is where we get into the demonstrations. So if go ahead. Uh-huh. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Fridays for Boost only. So that was a mistake, and my apologies for this, for the last minute change. Um, Originally, the program was going to be Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, but about 3 months ago, as a team, as a leadership team, we decided to change it to Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays because a lot of teens last year were traveling for sports or traveling with their churches or even just family travel, and they were missing the Friday sessions. So that was feedback that we received, that if we could move the program for earlier in the week, allowing the weekends for travel. That information, that change was not cascaded to the owner of Boost Only CrossFit. And we realized yesterday when we had our meeting, I was counting on Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and she was counting on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So that's why the change. So, um, Rebecca, I know you were going to do some research to see if you were able to do the Thursdays. I'm good either way with both of you, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And even if I have to cover Fridays, that's okay because that was an error on our end. Yeah. Williamson, are you flexible or do you have a preference? Okay. Okay, cool. So we'll just wait on you, Rebecca, to let us know. Well, wait a minute. Um, yeah, to let us know if you can cover Fridays. If not, I will cover Fridays. Okay. All right. So then moving back here, let's see. So Wednesday, for the most part, the educational portion of the program is going to be viewing the modules. Then on Fridays for you guys, Thursdays for Tri Power. Um, it gets into more of the demo, right? So, and I kind of shared this already with you guys individually, but on this slide, there's a little car here, if you guys remember from the module. Essentially, carbohydrates gives us a spike of energy that typically will last about 2 hours. So if I eat a salad, just a salad with no protein, I'm going to see that within an hour and a half, 2 hours, I'm going to start getting hungry again because I've burned that fuel. Protein, when I eat a salad, lettuce, tomato, whatever, plus chicken, is going to give me a longer sustained form of energy. And that typically will last about 3 to 4 hours. So, like for lunch, when you're having a chicken salad, it'll kind of, and I eat at 12 or you eat at 12, whatever, it's going to give you sustained energy right around 4. And around 4 ish, you're going to start feeling hungry again. But if I incorporate healthy fats give you a even longer sustained form of energy. So we're looking at 2 hours carbohydrates, incorporate proteins is going to give you 4 hours of energy and satisfaction. So fats are about 5 to 6, depending on the fats. So the idea here is to teach them that if they have, for example, they're in school, right? If they eat a healthy breakfast that includes all three macronutrients, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, it's going to give them a sustained amount of energy to get through school, at least until like lunchtime, if they're eating super early. So last year we had a session that was all softball girls. And these girls were not eating anything throughout the day, going through school, and then going to practice. And what they were realizing was that practice was pretty much non existent and they were not able to get to their full potential because they didn't have the right fuel in their body. And then they would have a soda right before or some candy or chips. So the idea here is to kind of change the mindset to really fueling and helping people learn how to eat and not eat because they're hungry. There's two different concepts, right? So I'm going to go back to this. So with on Thursday, we're really going to focus on this portion of the demonstration. And essentially, what I'm going to provide you are with these like flashcards, and each flashcard has a different food that represents one of the three macronutrients, which is going to be carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. And the idea here is to take these flashcards and kind of build a healthy plate. One thing that I really need for you guys to do in lieu of the Friday meeting is to view in our YouTube channel the webinars for the following week. Does that make sense? Have you both been able to kind of browse through the YouTube channel? Okay, cool. So the idea before getting to the Friday meeting with me, make sure that you view those modules so that you understand when I discuss the exercise, right? So the idea is that, and Rebecca, you can take a team, Williamson can take a team. You guys are going to have the flashcards, and the idea is to build a healthy plate. And what I mean by that is in the video, you'll see that half of your plate should be covered with carbohydrates, and the portion is going to be 2 fist size. So, for example, if I have a plate and I have a salad, ideally you want half of that plate to be the salad, which equates to roughly 2 fists worth, right? Then the protein should cover about a quarter of the plate. And basically a good gauge for portion is going to be your palm size, which equates to about a quarter of the plate. And then fats, your healthy fats, like say avocado. So a beautiful plate would be a salad with multiple colors like the rainbow, your protein, right? A quarter. And then the other quarter of the plate, ideally, according to the FDA and the government, they want to see grains, whole grains. Everybody's different. For me, I don't tolerate grains. So what I do is I substitute it with good fats, so like avocados. And basically, the rule of thumb is two thumb size portions. Now, instead of grains, I'll maybe sometimes kind of substitute it with sweet potatoes. But building that plate starts giving them an idea of kind of changing the mindset of eating because you're hungry to eating to fuel the body. Now, I'm going to pause there because that was a lot of information. But does exercise A make sense to you guys? And please ask questions. This okay, good. Um, then B, and I can't really see it because I'm recording myself, but exercise B is all about the amount of fuel that each macronutrient gives us. And what I mean by that is if I go back to, and it's going to put the recording over here, but oh well. If I go back to this, there, okay. So the right way to calculate how to properly hydrate is taking half of your body weight in ounces, adding 20% of that calculation if it's extremely hot outside, and then adding another 20% of this calculation if I work out. So, what I mean by that is if I weigh 140 pounds, basic hydration protocol every day is 70 ounces. So, half of my body weight in ounces, 70 ounces. Then, if it's hot outside, which is the majority of the case in Florida, I take 20% of that 70. A quick little math, trick is you take the first digit, which is 7, and multiply that by 2, which is 14. So 70 ounces plus 14 if it's hot, and then another 14 if I work out. So 70 plus 28, which is what, 98? 98 ounces of water per day. That's the correct hydration protocol for each individual. So I'll pause there. Any questions in calculating the hydration protocol? We're good? Okay. And so that's we lost Williamson. And that's pretty much it for Thursday. Let me look at my notes. Okay. And also on Thursday, so homework is going to be them tracking how much they're drinking, and what they're going to realize is they're not coming even close to the required hydration that the body requires. Also kind of logging the foods that they're eating and which macronutrient group it falls under. And if they're eating what we call nutrient dense food, which is going to be those good quality whole foods that we explain in the video, or if they're eating junk food, right? Which then leads to how does that equate to energy balance? Is it good quality foods in, good energy out, or is it bad foods in, bad energy out? So that they can start kind of applying and kind of realizing their current nutritional behaviors, not just them, but their families as well, their parents, and so that we can discuss it in the following weeks. Let's see. Oh, and then I shared this yesterday, but I'll share it again. When we see the summer program logo, we pause once I'm done explaining the slide. And then all the materials, like essentially the flashcards, will be delivered tomorrow to the Groveland location and to Eustis so that you guys have it. Any questions? I know that was a lot. Now, does it make sense? I think it'll be easy. And then I am going to be available via phone. So if you guys need me, just please do not hesitate to call. And I'll put my number on the Slack channel as well. So let's see, that took us about 30 minutes. That's not bad. Okay, so that means that every Friday I'll do a summary, especially of the exercises for the following week. and I think we're good. The calls on Fridays, we have it at, let's see, Fridays. I have it at 12:45, and that's because if I'm covering on Fridays in Groveland, it gives Williamson and I at least 15 minutes to kind of transition. Now, if and remember, I'm going to be recording these. So if you guys can't attend, just view the training recording. Okay. Um, Now, Rebecca, if you're able to cover Fridays, then I mean, we can always leave it. You guys tell me if you have a preference of time. Oh, that's right, because you guys are traveling back. Yes, that's a good point. Let me think. Okay, good. Let me think about this. Well, what I can do is you guys don't have to be on the calls. I can actually record the training for the following week on Tuesdays and send it to you all. And honestly, we can eliminate that call. And if you have any questions, you can just ping me on the Slack channel. What do you guys prefer? A live call, a live training, or a recorded training? Recording? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So then I will record the training sessions for the interns, the on-site interns on Tuesday, because I blocked about an hour to prep for this call. So I can literally just record myself on Canva, send you guys the link, and that gives us Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday in case you have any questions to ping me on Slack. I think that's plenty of time. But that's going to be the format, modules, and then the actual application, which is exercises and demos. Okay. Then let me go back real quick and share. Let's see here. So then next week, oh no, next week we don't have the SMART goals. The following week we start SMART goals. Okay. So yeah, that's it. That's all I've got. Anything else, team? No? All right. Thank you so much. You guys have a good weekend. Ping me if you have any questions. Bye. Mhm. You too. Bye bye. We have
Okay,
the
it's
trivia.
time for
So
my
we don't
favorite
have
part of the
trivia
workshop,
on Wednesday.
trivia
We have it
time.
on
So
Thursday.
take out your
And
phones
each
because it's
slide
time
or
for Kahoot.
each webinar, when we get to the trivia slide, is going
Okay,
to have
it's
the
time
code
for
to
my
make it
favorite part of the
easier
workshop,
and a QR
trivia
scan
time. So take
to
out your
access
phones because
the
it's
trivia
time
for
for
that
Kahoot.
week.
Okay, it's
Um,
time for my
I think
favorite
that's pretty
part of
much
the
it.
workshop,
So we
trivia
cover
time.
a
So
lot
take
on
out your
week one
phones
because
because
we're
it's time for
consolidated in
Kahoot.
2 days, essentially 3 days
Okay, it's
of
time for my
content, because
favorite part of the
Monday we're
workshop,
taking care
trivia
of
time.
all
So
the
take out your phones
pre-scan and
because
the
it's time for
pre-workout and all that
Kahoot.
in the survey.
Okay, it's
So
time for
let
my
me go back to
favorite
my
part of the
notes.
workshop, trivia time.
So any
So take out your
questions
phones
with
because it's time for Kahoot.
the topics of the week
Okay,
and
it's
the
time for my favorite
exercises and all
part of the
that?
workshop, trivia time. So take out your
We're
phones
good.
because it's time
All
for
right, so let's
Kahoot.
see here.
Okay, it's time for my favorite part of the workshop, trivia time. So take out your phones
We're gonna
because
do the
it's
hydration
time for Kahoot.
protocol.
Okay, it's time for my
Okay,
favorite part
so
of
I
the
put here
workshop,
notes of the
trivia
most
time.
important
So take out your
topics for the
phones
week.
because
So
it's time
obviously
for
the
Kahoot.
hydration protocols, and letting
Okay,
them know,
it's
hey,
time
listen,
for my
this
favorite
is a
part of the
lot of
workshop,
information.
trivia time. So take out your
We
phones
don't
because
expect
it's
them
time for
to
Kahoot.
learn everything.
Okay, it's time for my favorite
If they
part of the
can leave the
workshop,
program
trivia
with
time. So take
5
out your phones
to
because it's
10
time for Kahoot.
learnings, that's a huge win, and
Okay, it's
we're
time
gonna
for
be
my
covering
favorite
a
part of the
lot. But like, for
workshop,
example, how to
trivia
properly
time. So
hydrate,
take out your
that's
phones because
huge,
it's
right?
time for Kahoot.
because hydration,
Okay,
I mean,
it's
our
time for my
cells
favorite
are
part of the
literally
workshop,
comprised of
trivia time.
water.
So take
And
out your
Livingston, I'm
phones because
sure in
it's time for
anatomy, you're
Kahoot.
learning in biology that
Okay,
everything
it's
happens
time
at
for
the
my
cellular
favorite
level,
part
at
of
the
the workshop,
mitochondrial level,
trivia
right?
time.
So we
So
have to
take
make
out
sure
your
that those
phones
cells are
because it's
nicely
time for
hydrated.
Kahoot.
A lot of
Okay, it's
metabolic
time for my
diseases and
favorite part of the
cancers, and
workshop, trivia time.
cells
So
are
take out your phones
dehydrated.
because
Like,
it's
you look
time
at
for
a
Kahoot.
healthy cell and a
Okay,
non-healthy
it's time for
cell,
my
you
favorite part of the
see the
workshop,
hydration
trivia time.
difference,
So
right?
take
So
out your
hydration is
phones
super
because
important.
it's
So
time for
that's
Kahoot.
like topic number one to know
Okay, it's
coming
time
out
for
of
my
week
favorite
number
part of the
one.
workshop, trivia time. So take out
We
your
are
phones
going
because
to
it's
have them
time for
take
Kahoot.
their in-body scans, and we're going to teach them
Okay,
how
it's
to
time for
read
my
the in-body
favorite part of
scans.
the workshop,
From the in-body
trivia
scans,
time.
honestly,
So take
the
out your
most
phones
important
because
thing
it's
is
time for
looking
Kahoot.
at the basal metabolic rate,
Okay,
which
it's
some
time for
people
my
call it
favorite part of the
BMR.
workshop, trivia
Those
time.
are
So take out your phones because
the
it's time for Kahoot.
minimum amount of calories
Okay,
that
it's
the
time for my
individual that
favorite
took the
part of the
scan should
workshop,
be eating.
trivia time.
A lot
So
of,
take
this
out your
is for
phones
your
because
information,
it's
but a
time for
lot of
Kahoot.
Americans don't even eat
Okay, it's
the
time for my
basic
favorite part of the
required
workshop,
calories
trivia
that our
time.
body
So take out
needs
your
to
phones
function.
because it's time for
Our
Kahoot.
bodies, the last time I checked,
Okay, it's time for my favorite
pretty
part of
much
the workshop,
we
trivia time.
process,
So
I
take
think
out
it
your
was
phones because it's
3
time for
trillion
Kahoot.
transactions a day in our body,
Okay, it's time for my
down
favorite
at a
part of the
molecule
workshop,
level.
trivia
And so
time.
when
So
you
take
look at
out
it
your
from that
phones because
perspective,
it's time for Kahoot.
these trillions of transactions
Okay, it's
need
time for
fuel
my
to
favorite
function,
part of the
right?
workshop,
So
trivia
hydration
time.
is the
So
most
take
important
out your
one.
phones because
BMR,
it's time for Kahoot.
eating
Okay,
at the
it's
bare
time for my
minimum are
favorite part of the
basic
workshop, trivia
calories that
time.
our body
So take out
requires.
your
To
phones
that, you have
because
to
it's
add
time for
exercise,
Kahoot.
calories for exercise, calories
Okay,
for
it's time for
digestion,
my
but
favorite part of
that's
the
totally
workshop,
separate.
trivia time.
That's a little
So
more
take out your
advanced.
phones because it's
The other
time
topic
for
that's
Kahoot.
really important coming out of week one is
Okay, it's
understanding
time
what's
for my
called
favorite
energy
part of the
balance.
workshop, trivia time.
And what
So
that
take out
is,
your
good
phones
foods
because
in
it's time for
equals
Kahoot.
good energy out. And in
Okay,
the
it's time
modules,
for
I
my
share
favorite part
when
of the
you eat
workshop,
healthy
trivia
foods, you
time.
get
So
good
take out your
quality
phones
energy
because it's
out.
time for Kahoot.
When you eat junk
Okay,
food,
it's time for my
which is going to
favorite
give
part
you
of the
most
workshop,
likely a
trivia
spike
time.
in
So take out your phones because it's
glucose,
time
which is
for
going to
Kahoot.
spike your insulin, then you're going to crash,
Okay, it's time
equals
for my
that
favorite part
energy
of the
out.
workshop,
So that energy
trivia time.
balance
So
is
take
really
out your
important
phones
to
because
learn
it's
coming
time
out
for
of week
Kahoot.
one. Understanding what
Okay, it's time
macronutrients
for my
are, your
favorite part of the
carbohydrates,
workshop,
proteins, and
trivia
fats is
time.
super
So
important.
take out your phones because it's
There's a
time for
section in
Kahoot.
one of the modules where I explain
Okay,
the
it's
difference
time for my
between
favorite part of the
simple
workshop,
versus
trivia
complex
time. So
carbohydrates.
take out your phones because
Basically,
it's
simple
time for
carbohydrates
Kahoot.
is candy and junk.
Okay, it's time for my
Complex
favorite part of the
carbohydrates are
workshop,
your fruits,
trivia
your vegetables,
time. So
really
take out your
good
phones
fuel
because it's
into your
time for
body.
Kahoot.
Um,
Okay, it's time for
let's
my
see
favorite part of the
here.
workshop, trivia time. So take out your
I
phones
also
because it's
explain
time for Kahoot.
glycogen stores, and basically what that
Okay,
is
it's time for my
when you
favorite part of
fuel
the
your
workshop,
body, especially with
trivia time.
carbohydrates,
So
we
take
have
out
like
your
these
phones
little
because
balls of
it's time for
energy throughout
Kahoot.
our body that get
Okay, it's time for my favorite
filled
part of the
up with
workshop,
the good
trivia
carbohydrates
time.
and the
So
good
take out your
energy, and that
phones
kind of
because
gives
it's
us
time for
the
Kahoot.
power to either work out or do the
Okay, it's
functions that we
time for
have
my
throughout the
favorite
day.
part of the workshop,
When we
trivia
burn that
time.
energy,
So
those
take
little
out your
balls,
phones
essentially
because
just like a
it's
fuel
time for
tank,
Kahoot.
goes down, and we have to
Okay,
eat
it's time for
to
my
basically
favorite part of the
refuel
workshop,
them. So
trivia
that's a little
time.
more
So take out your
complex
phones
of a
because
topic,
it's
but it
time
was
for
important
Kahoot.
to share.
Okay, it's time for my
Obviously,
favorite part
building
of the
healthy
workshop,
plates, right?
trivia
With
time.
carbohydrates,
So take
proteins,
out
and
your
fats.
phones
Half
because
of your
it's time
plate,
for
2
Kahoot.
fists worth of good carbohydrates.
Okay, it's
Your
time for
protein,
my
a palm
favorite part of
size,
the
and then
workshop,
your
trivia
whole grains,
time.
whole
So
wheat,
take out your
and your
phones
healthy
because
fats.
it's time for Kahoot.
And that's going to be, we're going to do the
Okay,
exercise
it's
using
time
the
for my favorite
flashcards.
part of the workshop, trivia time.
And
So take out your phones
what
because
else?
it's time
And
for
then
Kahoot.
homework for week
Okay,
2
it's time for my
is going
favorite
to
part of the
be
workshop, trivia time. So take out your phones because it's time for Kahoot.
Here.
Okay,